Phonological Awareness Routine number 1. In this routine, children will listen to beginning, middle, and ending sounds in pairs of words to determine whether the sounds are the same or different. There's 4 different parts to this routine. Students will match the sounds, distinguish the sounds, identify whether the sounds are the same, and then isolate the sounds in each of the pairs of words. Let me give you some examples. You're going to begin by telling children they're going to listen for the sounds in words. So for instance, 2 words, boat and boy. Ask children, are the beginning sounds the same in boat and boy? Students will say yes. In the words cat and nap, are the middle sounds the same? Cat, nap. Yes, they are the same. And in the words pin and tan, ask students to listen to those words and tell you whether the ending sounds are the same in pin and tan, and they will be able to identify that those ending sounds are the same. The next part of this routine is to have students distinguish sounds in words, and in these pairs of words, some of the sounds are not going to be the same. So students are going to say yes or no. So let's look at some of those examples. In the word tent and duck, are the beginning sounds the same in tent and duck? Students should be able to identify that the beginning sounds in tent and duck are not the same. As in tent, it's t, and in duck, it's d. Again, we'll try another set of words. In the words cup and mud, are the middle sounds the same in cup and mud? Yes, the middle sounds are the same. It's the short U sound. Again, we'll try 2 more. In the words ran and rag, are the ending sounds the same in ran and rag? The ending sounds are not the same, and you want students to be able to verbalize that. The next part of the routine is to identify matching sounds, so you will say 2 or 3 words that only share the same beginning, middle, or ending sounds. Let me give you a few of those examples. In the 2 words mug and mat, which sound is the same? The beginning sound, the middle sound, or the ending sound? In mug and mat, which sound is the same? Students should be able to identify that it is the beginning sound that is the same in mug and mat. In the words cat and bit, which of the sounds are the same? The beginning sound, the middle sound, or the ending sound in cat and bit? Students should identify that the ending sound is the sound that is the same. One more that we'll try. In the words pot and mop, which sound is the same? Is it the beginning sound of those 2 words, the middle sound of those 2 words, or the ending sound? In pot and mop, the middle sound is the one that is the same. Finally, in this routine, students will listen for the beginning, middle, and ending sound of the word. So what you're going to do is say the word to them and then have them repeat it. Then you'll ask them for an isolated sound. So let's try a couple of those. In the word cup, I'll say the word cup, then the students will repeat the word cup. And then I will ask them, what is the beginning sound in the word cup? Students should be able to identify that the beginning sound is k in the word cup. Let's try the word pot. In the word pot, what is the ending sound of the word pot? So I'll say the word, the students will say the word, and then they should be able to identify what that ending sound is, which in this word pot would be t. One more. In the word ran, what is the middle sound in the word ran? The middle sound students should be able to identify is the ah sound. You'll say it, students will repeat it, and then you'll ask them to isolate either the beginning, the middle, or ending sound. Continue with pairs of words until you feel that all students have mastered this skill. Phonological Awareness Routine number 2. The purpose of this routine is to have students blend sounds to make words. The first part of the routine is to have students listen to sounds. You will say a word slowly, accentuating each sound, and students will say that same word quickly. For example, in the word zip, you will say zip, and then have students say the word that you have just separated. Students will say that word is zip. In the second part of the routine, students will use sound boxes. So for each sound that they say, they will put a chip in the box. We'll continue to use the example zip. In this word, as students say the sound z, they will put the chip in the sound box. You can continue this with a variety of words like sin, fan, van, or other one-syllable words that have a short sound. The next part of the routine is to actually slow the word down like this. You will use your hand to show zip. Then have students do that same thing, and you'll want to use different words. And then model how students should say that word quickly. Zip, zip. So let's do the whole thing using a different word. If we use the word fan, for instance, you will say the word fan, separating it out. Students will then say that word, putting the chips in the sound boxes. Fan, fan, fan. Continue doing this with a variety of other words. Repeat for remaining words, and if students make an error, you can use the corrective feedback routine number 1 if they continuously make this error. Phonological Awareness Routine number 3. In this routine, students will segment a word into individual sounds. You will display sound boxes as I have here and tell children that the boxes will help them to individually say each sound in a word. You're going to say a new sound as students use their sound boxes along with you. First, they'll listen to a model. You will say a word. Let's take the word sad. Model how to say it slowly for students. Sad. Now I'm going to use the chips as I say the word. Sad. Now we're going to say the word together with the students as they try to say it with you. So we'll say it together with them. sad. And now we'll say it together while the students do this on their sound boxes that they have at their own individual places. Sad. Have the students repeat it now completely on their own. This shows that gradual release of responsibility that we use so often in Reach for Reading. The next word that we're going to say is pot. I am going to model how to say it slowly, and then students will say it slowly as we point to the sound boxes. So here we go again. Pot. Pot. Now students will say that slowly as they point to their sound boxes. The last part of this routine is to have the students say the words slowly, put chips in the sound boxes, but then also count the sounds. I've used a word that we know has 4 letters in it, but it only has 3 sounds. So let's look at the word fizz. I will say the sounds, fizz. I'll use my chips and have the students do this along with me as they say the sounds. Is. And now I'll ask students to count those sounds. So how many sounds are in the word fizz? You'll notice that there's a beginning sound, a middle sound, I, and an ending sound, z. So there are 3 sounds in the word fizz. Continue with a variety of different one-syllable words that have a short sound until you have given students a lot of practice in this routine. Phonological Awareness routine number 4. In this routine, students will be taught how to add sounds to words to make new words. You'll begin by giving students a purpose. You will tell them that they will add a sound to a word to make a new word. You want to choose words that are a word all by itself, and then when you add a sound, makes a new word. For instance, the word hide has the beginning word of high, and then when you add the sound of duh, it can make the word hide. So let's use another example. Let's look at the word hive. Identify the sound or the word to the students first. So say to students, the word is high. And have them repeat that. And then ask them, what if we added the sound v to the end of the word high? Have students then be able to identify that when you have a word high and you add the sound v at the end of the word, that it will make a new word, which is hive. Then you're going to say another word and have students do the same thing. You will say the beginning word. You'll have students repeat that. Then identify the sound that you want to put either at the beginning or the end of the word, and then say it together with students. What you want them to do is by the end of this routine, you want to be able to give them the word, give them the sound that you're adding either to the beginning or the end of the word, and you want them to be able to say that new word on their own. And you're going to continue with a lot of other examples. We'll try one more. The word is bee. We're going to add the sound d to the end of the word. So if the first word is bee and we add the sound d to the end of that word, the word will then be bead. Continue with these examples until you have figured out and understood that students understand this skill. Phonological Awareness routine number 5. In this routine, students will delete sounds from words to make new words. First, you'll begin by telling students that they will take a sound away from a word to make a new word. Choose words, obviously, that can stand alone as a word, and then you can also take either the beginning sound or the ending sound away to make a new word. Have the students listen to you first, repeat the word, then say the sound that you're going to take away, whether it be in the beginning or in the end, and then have students identify that new word. Here are some examples. Let's look at the word hair. Say the word hair with me. Have students then say the word hair with you. I want to identify the beginning sound in the word hair. It is. If we take the sound away from the word hair, what word then do we have left? Have students then be able to say that beginning sound of h with you and then identify what word is left. If we take the beginning sound of h away from the word hair, we are left with another word that is air. Here are some other examples. Look at the word tear. Say the word tear with me, then students will say that word. Identify that the beginning sound of tear is t. If we take t away from the word tear, what word is left? The word would be ear. Let's try just one more. Look at the word soap. Say the word with me, and then have students say the word soap with you. Now let's identify the ending sound in the word soap. The ending sound in the word soap is p. If we take the p away from the word soap and then have students say that sound of p, what word is left? Students should be able to identify that the word so is left if we take the p away from the word soap. Repeat and continue to have students segment that sound away from the word and continue with more examples until you feel that students have reached this concept. Phonological Awareness routine number 6. The purpose in this routine is to have students substitute sounds to make new words. Tell children that they're going to change a sound in a word to make a new word. We're going to use our sound boxes again to model changing either the beginning, the middle, or the ending sound in a word. So you'll begin like this. Tell students that you know a word that you want them to repeat slowly with you. The word is pan. Have students repeat this word with you. Pan. Now talk about which sound in the word you want to replace. So what is the beginning sound in the word pan? The beginning sound in the word pan is p. Have students repeat this with you as you identify the beginning sound. Now we're going to change the sound. We're going to change the p in pan to v. When we change the beginning sound of pan to v, the word changes a bit. This is where you're going to use your chips for the boxes. Now let's say the new word. We've changed the beginning sound, and now the new word is van. Have students say the new words with you. Now let's change it again. We're going to change, we have the word van. Have the students repeat that word with you slowly. Van. And we're going to change the beginning sound, v, and we're going to replace it with the sound t. When we replace the beginning sound of v with the sound of t, it changes the word. Now let's use our sound boxes. T, a, n. The beginning word is tan. beginning sound is t. So we've changed van to tan. Now let's change the middle sound. We have the word tan. Now we're going to change this middle sound. What is the middle sound? Ask students, and they will say a. And then we're going to change the middle sound to I. When we change the middle sound to I, we now have a new word. The new word is going to be t. In. Tin. So we change the word tan to tin. And now finally I'm going to change the ending sound of this new word. We have the word tin, and I'm going to replace the ending sound with the sound of p. P. When I change the ending sound of to p, it makes a new word. Let's practice that new word together. T. I. P. I've changed the word from tin to tip. Continue repeating this with students and practicing with new words that you find as you continue to substitute sounds in words to make new words. Phonological Awareness Routine number 7. In this routine, students will count the number of syllables in a word. There are 3 parts to this routine: saying the word, clapping out the syllables, and then counting the syllables afterwards. Tell students that words can have more than one syllable. For instance, in the word vacation, there are 3 syllables. In the word boy, there is only 1 syllable. And in the word mother, there are 2 syllables. Continue to give students some examples showing them that words can have more syllables. Now we'll try some examples where students will listen to the word, clap the syllables, and then count those syllables. Let's start with the word sister. I'll say the word sister, then have students say the word sister. Now, I'll clap out the word sister so that you'll see how many syllables there are. Sister. Now have students do that same thing along with you. This is part of the I do, we do, or that gradual release of responsibility for students so that they feel comfortable as they're learning a new skill. Now, we'll use little blocks of paper at the student's desk to actually visualize those syllables. So in the word sister, you'll have these types of blocks. Sister. And then we can actually see that the word sister has 2 syllables. 1, 2. Let's try another one. Let's look at the word boat. I'll say the word boat, then students will say the word boat. I'll clap out the syllables, boat, and have students do that same thing. Now we'll use the counting syllables method. Boat. You'll see that there's only 1 syllable, and students will be able to visualize this at their own individual stations. Finally, let's try the word television. I'll say the word television. Students will then repeat the word television. I'll clap them out, and then we'll do it together. Television. Now we'll use the counting method. Television. And then we'll count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 syllables in the word television. Continue clapping and counting syllables in other words as your lesson planner designs. Phonological Awareness routine number 8. In this routine, students will combine syllables. The purpose is to have students combine syllables to make words. 2 parts to this routine. Students will listen to a word, and then you will give them each of the syllables of the word, and they'll blend them together to make a word. You're going to start out by telling students that there are words that have a different amount of syllables in each one, and give them some examples. For instance, table has 2 syllables. Now you can clap these out for syllables or just tap them out for students. The word rug has 1 syllable. Give students some examples. The word automobile has 4 syllables. So you're just trying to get students to understand that words have a different amount of syllables in them. The next part of the routine is to have students then listen to words that are broken down into syllables, and they will actually put them together. Here are some examples. Let's look at the word dragonfly. You won't give that word to students, but instead you'll have them listen as you break apart the word into syllables, like this. Dragonfly. And then you'll ask students. They can repeat it with you or just listen as you say it slowly. Dragonfly. Have them then put that word together, blend it together, and say it quickly. Dragonfly. Here's another example. Let's use butterfly. Butterfly. Now again, you're not going to give the word butterfly to students. You're just going to give those parts, give those syllables, and then have them blend it together to make the word butterfly. Use a variety of words that have a different amount of syllables. Here's one with 2 syllables. I won't say the word, I'll just say the parts. Marker. Marker. Students will then blend it together and say that word is marker. Just continue to repeat for remaining examples that you find in the book. Phonological Awareness routine number 9. In this routine, children will divide a word into syllables. First, tell students that they are going to say each syllable in a word. Say a word, for instance, candle. You are going to clap and tap that word for students so that they can see you doing it, and then they'll do it along with you. So let's try that. Candle, candle. Then have students do that same thing along with you. Candle. Then you'll go on to another word. Mitten. Mitten. And then have students do that same thing along with you. Try words that even have 1 syllable, like grass. Grass. Make sure students do not divide a 1-syllable word into 2 sounds. That's a mistake that sometimes these students will make. Try grandmother. Grandmother. Then have students clap or tap along with you as you do it again. Grandmother. Continue to say new words and have children clap or tap as they say and clap and tap each syllable. Repeat with remaining examples. Phonological Awareness routine number 10. In this routine, the purpose is to have students delete syllables from a word. First, tell children they're going to listen to a word and then take away one of the syllables. Give an example. For instance, in the word pencil, there are 2 syllables. Pencil. If I take away the last syllable, the first syllable will only be pen. So let's try some examples. This is how you will do this with students. First, tell them that you are going to say a word and have them repeat that word. So I will say caterpillar. and then have students say that same word, caterpillar, and then say, now we're going to think about that last syllable, and we're only going to do the first 3 syllables. Caterpill. And then we will not do the last syllable. So we've deleted that last syllable from the word. Let's try another word. The word is planter. Have students then repeat that word, planter. You can clap or tap it out, planter, and have students do that with you. Now let's delete that last syllable of So we will only have the first syllable, which is plant. We'll try one more. The word is running. Have students say it with you, running. We can clap or tap it out, running. And then we're going to delete the last syllable. So if the first one is run and the second one is ing, we're going to delete ing and we're just going to say the first syllable, which would be run. Repeat with remaining examples and keep doing this. Students will enjoy deleting syllables from words as they practice. Phonological Awareness Routine 11. In this routine, children will substitute syllables in a word. Start out by telling students that they are going to listen to a word and change one of the syllables in that word. Say the word with the students and then have them repeat it. So you'll say stronger and have them repeat that word, stronger. Then tell students that they should clap out the syllables so that they know how many there are and which syllable is a part of each part of the word. Stronger. Now we're going to change the last part of the word, the last syllable, to est. So stronger, we're going to change the to est. What would be the new word? That's what you're going to ask students, and they should say strongest. Let's try another example. Look at the word running. Have students say it after you, running, and then clap it out with them, running. Now we're going to change the ending part of the word running to Change ing to When we change ing to in running, we get a new word, which is runner. Yes, this can be a little bit tricky for students, so you may want to use a lot of different examples for this. Let's try another one. Look at the word simple. I'll say it first, simple, and then you have the students say it with you. Simple. We can clap it out together. Simple. Now let's change the final syllable of ol to est. So instead of simple, we're going to get simplest. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different word. Simple. Change that to simplest. Very good. Now we're going to try the last one. This is tricky because we're going to substitute a syllable that's in the middle of the word. Here's the word, grandmother. I'll say it, then have students say it with you, grandmother. Now we're going to change the middle syllable. So we have grandmother. We're going to change the ma syllable in the middle. Instead of grandmother, it's going to be changed from ma to fa. So we're going to change grandmother to grandfather. That's a little bit of a tricky one, but students may enjoy that one. Continue practicing with different words that have a different amount of syllables as you practice substituting syllables in a word. Phonological Awareness Routine number 12. In this routine, the purpose is to have students say a word slowly and then identify the beginning and the ending sound. There's actually 3 parts to this routine. Students will first listen to you saying the sounds, and then they will identify the initial sound and then identify the final sound in words. Show children pictures of objects, of words that have 3 sounds and they have an initial continuous sound in the beginning. What I mean by that are sounds that you can continuously say. So there's sounds like s, z, so that you can really accent those sounds for students. Let's start with the word mop. Mop has 3 sounds and it has a continuous sound in the beginning. First, I'll say the word to students, mop, and then I'll have them repeat that word with me, mop. Then I'm going to slow down the word, accenting each of the sounds in that word. I'm using sound boxes so that the sounds are separated for the students. Then I'll do it with the students, and they can do it along with me. So here we go. After you do this, you're going to have students actually look at their sound boxes. You'll point to the initial box and then have them ask them, what sound do you hear at the beginning of the word mop? And they should start to say the word mop and they'll identify that beginning sound as Then point to the final sound box and ask that same question but about the final sound. What sound do you hear at the end of the word mop? Mop. Be careful that students don't identify the letter by saying M or P, but they actually identify that sound. We want them listening for the sounds in the words. Let's try the next one. The next one, I have a picture of a fin. So I'll say the word to students, fin. I'll have them repeat it after I do, fin, and then I will stretch out that word while they watch. So I'm going to model for them. In. Then I'll do it along with students again. So we'll go in. And then I'll ask students the question. Looking at your sound boxes, what sound do you hear at the beginning of the word fin? And they should be able to identify f. Also, what sound do you hear at the end of the word fin? N. The end of the word fin is N. And then let's try just one more example. I have a picture of a van. I'll say the word van, van, have students repeat it, van, and then I'll do it first. And students can watch and then also join along with me as we separate the sounds of the word van. And the last thing I'll do is ask students to look at their sound boxes and I'll point to the beginning or the final sound. What sound do you hear at the beginning of the word van? What sound do you hear at the end of the word van? Continue with a variety of different words, matching each sound with the corresponding sound box until you feel students have gotten enough practice in the skill of identifying beginning and ending sounds.